Hi grade twos. Yesterday you watched the Brain Pops Junior videos about liters and milliliters. And those are our standard measurements when we're measuring volume of a liquid usually. So the same way that if we're measuring length, we use a ruler and we use centimeters, or we use meters, we use milliliters and liters for our measurements for a volume, for a liquid, usually for a liquid. The one thing I want to point out though, just to get our brains kind of thinking. So for centimeters, we've decided a centimeter is the same space always, and rulers are like that all over the world if they're using centimeters. We have decided what that space is, and now we all use that same space. It's the same thing for milliliters, but I do want you to think about milliliters a bit different because they're actually like a three-dimensional measurement. They're like 3D, whereas a centimeter is a flat, it's a 2D measurement. If I'm measuring the length of my hand, I'm just measuring this flat length. I'm not measuring all of my hand and what's inside of it. It's just the length with centimeters. But with milliliters, really you are measuring what's inside, and it's going to be a 3D amount. So if I'm looking here, I have the paper here so you can see. Say it comes up to 200 milliliters. That means all the liquid, the whole way through the cup that goes to there is 200 milliliters. And these spaces are the same, and we've already decided, just like centimeters, throughout the world. However, there is a trick, and I want your brains to get fired up for this. With a ruler, we have all of our numbers usually, like a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all there. If I want to measure my finger and I put it down, I can very quickly see it's about 7 centimeters. So here's my number line here. If I'm measuring something that goes to 6, I can see very quickly that it's 6 centimeters. But there's a trick with measuring cups often, or any instrument that you measures volume, and they often skip count. So here's my first number line. It's a different number line. This number line goes 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So it's skip counting, but there is a mark in between. So if you look, it's like 0, there's the 1, there's just no number. 2, that's 3, there's just no number. 4, 5, no number, but it is 5, and then 6. So if I measured something that went to here, how long is it? I have to think. I don't know right away. I have to think. Here's 14, here's 16. This is the number in between those two, which I know is 15, right? I'm going to show you my measuring cup right now. On the measuring cup, here's 100, here's 200, and there's just lines in between. They're not actually telling us what they mean, and the reason you do that is because if you wrote all the numbers, it would be quite smushy, really. I know what it is, so I'm just going to tell you. It's 100, this is 125, 150, 175, 200. And I know that because I can tell there's 4 spaces, so it's like quarters, and it's like $1. So I already knew that. We're not going to use up to 100 today. We're going to use different skip counting measuring cups, but I want you to think about that because sometimes the measurement will be obvious what the volume is, but sometimes you're going to need to think about it. Let's go look. Okay, so we are looking at measuring in milliliters. Here's our first cup. It says how much liquid is in the jug. And we're starting with a ruler, even though the numbers are missing, where each space is 1. So this is our 0. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would make this 6. And the liquid goes to there. So it's 6 milliliters. What about this one? Can you tell how high this one is? 1, 2, 3. 3 milliliters it is. Ooh, this one. I don't want to count up all of them. I'm just going to start at 10, and I can see it's 2 more spaces. So what is 2 spaces past 10? It is 12 milliliters. Oh, we've made a switch now. The ruler has switched on the side. And I can tell because here's 10, but look, if I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. So how many spaces? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if 10 were divided by 5, that means I know that each space is worth 2. They're counting by 2s. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yep, we've got it right. 10, 12, 14, 16. We had to count by 2s this time. 16 milliliters is correct. Remember, we're still counting by 2s. I can tell because there's 10 here and 0 here. So 0, 2, 4. Okay, it was 4 milliliters. What about this one? If you're counting up by 2s, what is this? You could know 2, 4, 6, 8. You could know it's 8. Or you could know that it's one space under 10. So it's 10, it's 2 under 10, which is also 8. We've changed again. It's now at 50 milliliters. Now, how many spaces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the ruler changes, we need to figure it out first. So 5. So 50 milliliters into 5 equal spaces. That tells me that each one of these is worth 10. So then I know it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Let's see if we're right. It is 70 milliliters. So we're counting by 10s now. So what would this be? 10, 20? It is, it's 20. What about this one? It's another one where it might be easier for me to just count down 110. So I know there's one space of 10 missing. So what is 100 take away 10? Do you know the answer? Let's double check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And that's exactly what I was thinking because I know 100 take away 10 is 90. This is what your worksheet looks like. It's called Measuring in Millimeters. It's actually 3 on one page and this last one on a new page, but I put them together here just to show you because there's a big hint that I want to tell you that's going to make it much easier to get the accurate and correct measurement off of these measuring cups. The hint is that all of the ones in this row use a scale, like a ruler on the side here, that's just counting by ones, like a normal number line. All of the ones in this row here use a different scale or a different ruler, and they're actually counting by 2s on this one here. These ones here in this row, the rulers changed again. And here, they're all counting by 5s. So to get an accurate measurement, you're going to need to remember that between every single little mark, it counts as 5. And this last row, which is actually on a different page for your worksheet, they are counting by 10s. So if you remember that and to check and make sure that you know what each little mark counts for, that will make the worksheet much easier for you. Remembering if you can't print or don't want to, then just write the number of the question down and your answer beside it on a separate piece of paper. Enjoy your math.